the route of Richard the Lionheart. Yes, that's going to crop up a little today. A few days ago, when I was feeling really ropey and could hardly get out of bed after sickness and diarrhea, Alistair came over to this town and started his ride around the southern part of the Grand Boucle. So what we have done today is come back to the same town, and we're going to ride to the north of there, but we're not riding up the Boucle. We're doing a different off-road route to get to the Boucle. Does that make sense? Because I wanted to go back to the town of Chaloux, because it is very important to both English and French history.
During my Bordeaux tour, I learnt the city had been English for 3 centuries. Eleanor of Aquitaine, we're in Aquitaine, married Henry II, and their third son was Richard the Lionheart, who spent much of his time on crusades, or in this part of France, raising money for his crusades.
Chaloux-Chabrol.
He did so quite brutally. His knights besieged the castle tower here, but then a lad with a crossbow dealt Richard a fatal blow.
The man, this one.
Yes.
He was
Oh, right. Oh, yes. Yeah.
shoot Richard behind neck and shoulder.
Yeah.
And the arrow go inside the body.
So this is where a king of England died.
So the amazing thing that we have learnt from that lady is that this castle is privately owned. It only changed hands 3 years ago. The previous owners didn't let people in, they kept it to themselves. But the new owners, and it's owned by a family from Chaloux down here, he thought, nah, it should be open to the public. It's a national monument. And so it is. We thought that he was shot here but died somewhere else. But according to our friend out there, he was brought in here and he died in front of the fire. His mum got to see him. Eleanor got here just before he died. Well, that castle was a nice surprise. When we left the house, I had no idea that was going to be open. I fully expected to be doing a little bit of a story about Richard the Lionheart. Little did I know we'd be going inside the castle where he was killed.
We're taking a cycleway to start a section of the Grand Boucle, the tour of the Dordogne. When we find it, the tour has company.
So according to that, this is part of GR4. And instantly, the going gets tougher. This blue baler twine, by the way, is just to keep cows from coming down here because they use blue electric fences. Cows see that and think, ooh, electric.
It's a kind of old rut, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Instead of doing the Grand Boucle in 3 days bike packing, as was my original plan, we're actually doing it in half-day bite-sized chunks. Obviously, I'm not going to finish the whole thing because I don't have many more days left. If you've done it, it would be great to hear how you found it. That would be fantastic. And if you fancy doing it, look at the video description because I'll definitely put links to commute tracks, the ones we've done, and also the whole thing. And Alistair does hold ambitions to put on some sort of gravel event out here, but it's difficult because there are bound to be local restrictions, even though it wouldn't be a race, and trying to find someone who can guide him through the subtleties of that in French, well, that's a challenge. So watch this space. But for now, if you're heading out the Dordogne and you want to find some great routes, follow the Dordogne cyclist on Strava and nick some of his routes. Or even drop him a message and join the club ride. I think I've worked out why I'm finding this Grand Boucle sections quite tough and slow going. Partly it's because the ground underneath is not technical, but it's very often loose, whether it's leaves like this or a bit of mud, bit of sand. You're always having to concentrate. But the main thing is this: you're always riding uphill. It does get quite steep, so when you get to a downhill section, you just freewheel. You don't actually ride. There's very little level. So there's no real recovery on those downhills. Braced on the downhills for the bumps. Your legs are working all the time. So essentially the downhill's over in a flash and you're back to riding uphill again. Here I go. Yeah, so there's... Oh, here's a bit steep again. Oh. Log rolled underneath me. And I couldn't keep going. Oh, sounds like I'm making excuses. Well, I am making excuses. But I'm also trying to explain part of the challenge of this route. I was going to ask what we here the other day, but actually so many of these places just look alike. You know, barking dogs and quaint villages. While we're on this hill, let me say a quick thank you to these people who are members of the production crew and adventure crew. They're supporting the channel by becoming members. If you'd like to find out what's involved, and if you click the join button under any video, when this is over, although it doesn't work on an iPhone, I'll pop up and explain the whole thing to you. But thank you very much to these folk for being members. Really appreciate it. Well, at the top of that climb, and we've got less than 2 miles to go to get back to the van. So that's where I'm going to probably end this video. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you have. And thank you for sticking with this whole series. It's been great fun to bring it to you, and I hope you'll have a look around the channel, find other things you like.
But at this point, I had no idea how my trip was about to change significantly, adding 2 days of bikepacking to my journey. Stick with the series if you want to find out what happened, and I'll see you again next time.